Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Wrestling Rundown. Anything you want to add to that?
Alright people, here's what's going to be happening. You're going to see us pretty much like this from now on, and hopefully things will be a bit more organized from here on out. Now, let's get to it, shall we? We'll start with SummerSlam, the rundown from that.
I think we need to give them a few updates on everything that's going on. Or do you want to do that at the end? Okay, well, this is what we have been planning and do have ready for you guys. This week, we do have our YouTube channel up and running. The videos will be posted to it as the time runs through for future episodes and everything WWE. We are now on Facebook too, so if you would like to give us
check us out, like us, let's tell your friends about it. The more people we have checking up on the YouTube, the YouTube
and the
channel
Facebook.
and the Facebook page, inch better. So
I think that just benefits all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently in the pre-planning stages, excuse me, of putting our own logo, making our own logo,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be up on this wall as
well as our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. So if you guys have any ideas for us, any recommendations, please do not hesitate to tell us. Because with your guys' help, we'll be able to make a kick-ass logo that everyone will be proud of.
And I think that would benefit everybody. As a reminder, the Facebook page that we do have updates everything WWE is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm updating that page more or less, every day. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Our opening theme song. We are currently still trying to get that up and running. I ran into a little bit of a problem with that, so I'm going to try and get that fixed as soon as I can, probably tonight.
And they say technology helps us.
I think things just happen this way. Oh well, that's about it for the reminders episode of the show. The reminders episode of the show. The reminders,
Remember, people, we're still trying to train him. He's still our diaper monkey currently. Anyway.
Hey,
okay.
I'm the one who brought you in on this. Okay.
Yeah, well, without me, this show wouldn't be organized.
Half as good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we are going to start with SummerSlam today.
Yeah. All right. Now, big shout out to Quaker Steak and Lube. They amazing food, great prices, and they always have the wrestling pay-per-views on at every single TV they got.
And to that, we thank you.
Yes. Now,
we did run into a little bit of a glitch, but
there were some technical issues the night of SummerSlam. So when we had gotten there, we had gotten there early, but the pay-per-view didn't actually get onto the screens until partway into the first match, which was Jericho versus Ziggler. Now, we'll start from there. The match was, for lack of a better word, amazing. Jericho is pretty much, even though he's all bandaged up because of the attack last week, he's still managing to pull off all of his best stuff, and he more or less dominated the match. Ziggler managed to get a comeback like once or twice into the match, and just as far as we saw, but for the most part, Y2J dominated, and with the did he make Jericho tap out? Yes, he did.
Did he make Jericho tap out? Or
Jericho? Wow.
We're training him a little bit too.
Yeah, you're rubbing off on me. Anyway, so yeah, he made Ziggler tap out through the walls of Jericho. Also, a little bit of a fun fact here. They say that it's the Walls of Jericho, but really there were two different moves, and it's more or less kind of like the same format. The Walls of Jericho is the
Boston Crab?
the Boston Crab, where you got your opponent on their stomach and you're like this on them. But there was also a move when he started off way back when called the Lion Tamer.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you got your opponent on his head and you're doing that to him. It's a lot more painful and a lot more difficult to pull off. But I guess they just decided to make it all one move, and so yeah, that's a little fun fact with that.
When we're out in the yard and yada yada, and we're out there just wrestling around,
Mhm.
just testing out moves and stuff like that, he does like to use the Walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
I thankfully do not usually let him put me into that because it does get painful.
Anyway, all right. The match after that. All right. The match after that was Rey Mysterio versus The Miz.
Great match.
And
Ray was Batmaning apparently.
yes, Rey was Batman. Which reminds me, I need to make a meme of that. And Batman can be anyone. I'm Batman! Anyway.
Big shout out to Ray William Johnson for the Batmaning episode.
Yeah. Anyway, alright, so pretty much Rey's mask was modeled after the Dark Knight, and the match was pretty much back and forth. So, and The Miz was pulling off reversal after reversal after reversal. But eventually, Rey got in the 619, but unfortunately he couldn't finish it because The Miz got out of the way and immediately went to Skull Crushing Finale and won the match.
Now, normally we do not praise The Miz here, but I will say that he did do a very good job. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that was impressive. Rey is not an easy guy to keep on reversing like that.
I think I got a little Miz thing going on with my awesomeness shirt, but
Oh boy. Anyway. Alright, the match after that was Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio.
guys, we really did not want to see this match. I mean, we wanted to see it because of Sheamus, because we knew he would just kick ass, but this feud has been just overdone now. Creative needs to come up with something new.
Not to mention that Del Rio's calling everybody a peasant is getting very old, and I mean, frankly, yeah, alright, so we haven't had everything given to us on a silver platter. What's the big deal? At least we work hard for what we earn. So, I mean, that's a big moral that Sheamus is more or less throwing out there.
Exactly, and Del Rio, you might be getting friggin' paid up the ass because WWE does pay well. But
Very well.
oh yeah, especially going out there nightly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even though it's not live every night, but
Yeah. Anyway, so Del Rio was focusing mainly on Sheamus's injured arm throughout the entire match, and he was dominant for most of the match. And this is where things start to go wrong for him. He tried to use the bro kick on Sheamus.
yes, he tried to pull off Sheamus's move.
That's always a bad idea. I mean, looking back when John Cena tried to use the People's Elbow on The Rock back in the last WrestleMania, we all know how that went. Trying to use another guy's move, it's just not going to work for you. Never.
Alright, speaking of this past WrestleMania, I'll have a little bit of a, reminder kind of thing towards the end of the show. But you're up.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sheamus reverses that, and then he reverses the cross arm breaker.
This is where things tend to take a turn for the worst for Del Rio. Because Del Rio, well, first of all, Ricardo Rodriguez, tries to throw his shoe to Ricardo.
You're getting ahead of yourself there, buddy. Now, what happens is...
Ricardo tries to throw his shoe to Ricardo.
we sure you haven't been drinking?
I don't know, my friend. I just
Anyway.
had a long day.
So what happens is Del Rio is holding on to the turnbuckle when Sheamus tries to throw him into the middle of the ring, which then exposes said turnbuckle. Now what happens from there is Ricardo tries to distract the referee and tosses his shoe to Alberto Del Rio. However, he overshoots.
And Sheamus catches it.
Exactly. Catches it midair, kind of like this, and he goes, oh, hey, opportunity. Whacks Del Rio across the face with the shoe, which causes him to fall to the ground.
Now, this is where things start to get controversial.
Now, Sheamus goes for the cover, and the 3 count happens. However, what happens is Del Rio had his leg on the bottom rope.
And Mike Chioda was not looking, referee Mike Chioda.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much the ref counted him out. The 3 count was successful. And when Sheamus noticed it, he also yanked back the leg before the ref could see it. So technically, if you guys are a Del Rio fan, you'll see this as Sheamus cheating twice. If you're a Sheamus fan, you'll see this as Sheamus taking advantage of
the situation.
Yeah, of the situation.
There was an exclusive WWE.com exclusive where the cameras caught up with Mike Chioda, our referee for that match, and he says, "Yes, I wish I could take that back. Referees do make mistakes. It's only human." That I totally agree with you, Chioda. Definitely wasn't your fault. I mean, it was, a mistake, but things happen.
Yeah, shit happens. So it's pretty much how you deal with it in the end is how it defines you.
But the thing is with Del Rio, he just bitches way too much, and I'm tired of hearing it.
Mm-hmm. Either he needs to be removed from the roster sooner or later because they're really starting to run out of shit for him to do. Unless
he is thinking about leaving in about a year or so.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unless if he wants to somehow start or picking a fight with if he wanted to start picking a fight with Cena or something, but I honestly don't see how that could work out.
Guys, what word am I looking for?
You think on that.
Short case scenario here is this feud's long from over. Put simple, this feud is long from over. Mm-hmm. And I'll have a little bit of an update on that coming up.
Alright. Now, for the next match, it was the Tag Team Championship. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth versus the Primetime Players. R-Truth, oh man, he's definitely
I'm gonna give this one a little bit of a credit here because R-Truth, not R-Truth. The Primetime Players did do okay without AEW, but I'm tired of seeing them. They're done with the championships. They need to be done with them. I mean, they're just...
Yeah, AEW was probably their only chance to get the championship, but since AEW's... since AEW just kept on running his mouth off like he was doing during the matches, that kind of ruined it for everyone. So, Anyway, R-Truth, he was dominant throughout the entire match. He is definitely the powerhouse of this team, and he was definitely pulling it off.
Now, we're not ripping off Kofi here. I mean, he's a high flyer too, Kofi, and he does a great job in the ring.
It's just R-Truth weakens them, and Kofi deals the finish. That's pretty much how they run.
Apparently, they were Superman team this year. So
yeah, both of them had the costumes. On both of their costumes, they had the Superman and symbol. Well, kind of the Superman symbol, just modded a bit for their own use. But they were wearing Superman's colors, and it was working out pretty well for them.
Moving on.
And
one last thing, match,
they retained their title, and that was pretty much it. Now, next show was the Triple Threat: Cena, Punk, and Show.
This match was... How do I say it? It was actually a lackluster match. I'm going to give it that. It wasn't how it was supposed to be. I mean, even a double, a restart to the match wasn't,
Yeah.
Big Show was a powerhouse, dominant in this match.
Yeah. obviously taking him out was their top priority, and Punk.
Obviously, this match was pretty much a 2-on-1 handicap match, honestly.
Yeah, there was a backstage exclusive about that, and Show was complaining about how he was ripped off because it wasn't a fatal three. It wasn't a fatal three, triple threat match. It was really, as he said, a 2-on-1 handicap.
I think that is up on our Facebook page. Check us out.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much what happens is they manage to tag teams suplex Show, and then what happens is, in order to get Punk goes in with this very strange type of submission move.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen before.
Yeah,
I thought it was at first a variation of Undertaker's triangle choke that he used.
You mean
the
Hell's Gate?
Hell's Gate, yeah, triangle choke, but you know.
Yeah, we really don't have a name for it, so he tried.
We don't even have an explanation for that one. Hell.
Yeah, really. Anyway, he was going for that, and at the same time, Cena went in with the
attitude adjustment.
No, not
STF.
Yeah, the STF. He came in with the STF, and they were both doing it at the same time.
Before we get to that, real quick, I do want to bring this point up. For like the third consecutive week in a row, Cena's going for the attitude adjustment, and here comes CM Punk pushing Cena down.
You're getting ahead of us in the match, dude.
No.
Yeah. Well, technically no, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and then...
So, yeah, Punk keeps on repeatedly interrupting Cena during the attitude adjustment. And also, to throw this out there, Punk tried to use the go to sleep, but he just wasn't strong enough to pull it off.
Cena's friggin' jacked, so...
Cena, everybody knows, Cena would have managed to attitude adjustments.
Which he did later do.
Yeah, we've seen him done it before. Hell, we've seen him lift Mark Henry up. And that wasn't even 2 months ago, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, no one can really say that Cena can't attitude adjustments show, because, to be quite honest, Mark Henry's a lot heavier than Show is, so...
You've got mail.
Sorry for that interruption, guys. I can't control that.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, back to the match.
We do see something that we don't normally see. Big Show goes for that double belly flop off of the second turn rope. So, that was an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, but once again, you're going to have ourselves in the match. So pretty much, the twin submission was going on. Big Show taps out. Both Cena and Punk think they've won. So they're trying to argue out who's the winner, but then AJ comes in.
This is the preset to it. As he said, Punk went for that strange submission he did, and then Cena storms in the ring and goes for the STF, so they didn't decide,
Yeah, and this is obviously a very poorly staged storyline bit, because, I mean, honestly, who would be that, frankly, dumb enough to do that and not realize that the other person was there trying to do a submission at the same time? The point is, get your opponent off of the guy that you're wanting to put the submission move on, then put it on them. So that was obviously a poorly scripted.
So then we saw the Big Show tap out, and then AJ comes in. She's like, restart the match.
And they're both looking at AJ, kind of yelling at her.
And behind
them is an angry Big Show. They turn around, twin and clothesline.
Ouch.
Yeah. Or no, wait, no, not twin clothesline.
Double choke slam.
Yeah, double choke slam. So yeah, that happened, and then that's when he set up for the double flop up at the corner. Punk managed to get out of the way. Cena took it all, and after a bit of more fighting, Cena knocks out Show with the attitude adjustment, but then he's thrown out of the ring by Punk, and Punk retains his title. Yeah.
Now comes probably one of my most favorite parts of the show. This they were looking and they were showing like the special guests of that are there, stars, yada yada, and we see Fred Durst, lead singer singer of the group Limp Bizkit. We see him go like this, and then we see him go like that to the camera. PG show, kids watching. He later apologized, and everything's worked out now. He was not escorted out of the building. He did go backstage and apologize to the producers and everything. So that
if anything, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, now the biggest match of the night.
Even though my favorite part of the show, the Divas dancing.
Yeah, that was just before the Triple H Lesnar match.
We see Kevin Rudolph performing
live at SummerSlam, and all the Divas came out dancing with the song.
Imagine my excitement.
Yes. Anyway, and then Michael Cole, and we see the commentators table, and Michael Cole is
pretty much raping Lawler.
Yeah.
He's sitting there going like that to Lawler, pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Something that we've been trying to unsee ever since. Anyway.
And we are scarred for life.
Yes. Anyway, moving on.
Cole, go to hell for that.
Let's focus on this, huh?
Okay.
Anyway.
Moving on.
All right. The Triple H Lesnar match. Okay. Putting it plain and simple, Brock Lesnar was a broken record. He kept on trying to go for the
he was
Kimura.
saying that throughout the night. We didn't find the match.
It wasn't that exciting when Lesnar was on the attack. It
didn't live up to the hype and expectations it was supposed to.
Lesnar just kept on trying to go for the Kimura lock. And I mean, yeah, that may work in MMA, that may be exciting in MMA, but this is WWE. Unless if you have some sort of extra twist to it that you want to throw into the match, a repeated move is just not going to work after a while. And it becomes very boring to watch. He's just... In other words, he was pretty much acting like a mindless animal.
We have found Brock Lesnar's weakness, though. We have found it. It is in his stomach.
Not really.
The diverticulitis that he has. That he was,
If you alright, what he's talking about is,
it's
partway during the match.
It's in the intestines, that's where so.
Anyway, partway into the match, Lesnar was kicked into the commentator's table. His gut went into the corner of the table, causing a lot of pain. And pretty much Triple H took advantage of that and went with a lot of gut attacks, which weakened Lesnar a considerable amount.
And that was because of his, disability.
Yeah. Anyway, so what happens is Triple H puts him into the pedigree. Lesnar gets out of it and tries to go for the Kimura. Triple H gets out of that, puts him into the pedigree again, and succeeds. Goes for the 3 count. Lesnar kicks out of it. And pretty much what happens is, after a bit more struggling, Lesnar manages to lock in the Kimura lock and breaks Triple H's arm once again, causing hit. Yeah, same one, and apparently, according to the commentators, the same place. And it pretty much caused Triple H to tap out then there, thus breaking his and the WWE Universe's spirit.
There is a lot of speculation that this is his last match. There is no end sight for him so far. As reported, I've seen through my source that says this is not the last match. He still has many more left in him. He's just going to take some time off for now and probably come back just when people are starting to forget about him. And he's going to reignite his feud with Brock Lesnar, probably at Survivor Series.
Yep. Anyway, so that was, and then that pretty much, the pay-per-view ended with Triple H pretty much crawling out of the ring and walking up the ramp, and it almost seemed as if he was saying goodbye to the WWE Universe. And that's how SummerSlam had ended. Which then brings us to the next night of Monday Night Raw.
Before we do that, we must discuss Brock Lesnar's.
Yeah.
I will be right back. Gary can take it from here.
Alright. Now, what he was talking about is the top 5 questions. Or no, that's not right. Predicting where Lesnar's next step in WWE is going to be. He had said that he had said on Raw that he was quitting the WWE and he was never going to return. That is just storyline, since Lesnar has signed up until WrestleMania, at least.
He does not have any post-WrestleMania plans. I just interrupted you, so keep going.
No, yeah, go ahead.
We are gonna take a look at what he says. If you can hear this.
I came here and accomplished everything that I said I was going to do. There's nothing left for me here to conquer. I'm leaving the WWE, and I'm never coming back.
Of course, that is storyline. He will be back.
If any of you could not hear that, what he said was there's nothing more for him in the WWE. No one left to conquer.
Which is a damn lie, because nobody's conquered The Undertaker yet. Hello?
Not even that. Just the pure fact that he lost against Cena. If he's already forgotten about that. So Lesnar's only there to just bring a little more, viciousness and shit like that into the main event cards. Yeah, so frankly, we would love to see him gone, because he takes too much pleasure in breaking the arms of people there.
And like Gary pointed out, he's a broken record. That's all he knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty much...
we see him at one point in this match walk around the ring and take his gloves off. I look at Gary and I'm like, I am so scared. He took his gloves off. Oh my god. Does that mean he's actually going to fight? But
yeah,
nonetheless...
he said that he wanted to straight out fight Triple H. But anyway, he said that he wanted to fight Triple H. Yet all we saw was the Kimura being used over and over again. I'm sorry, but Brock Lesnar is not a fighter. He is, by all means, just an MMA fighter. That's it. And they aren't even true fighters. All they specialize in is just pretty much making the opponent tap out. That's it. There's submission in people. That's it. He's not a fighter. He definitely doesn't act like one.
Exactly.
Now, are we gonna go to the Raw episode or not?
In a minute. I need you to play this video right here.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
It's just a background. We do want to grade each of the matches at SummerSlam, and for that we will turn to one of the sources, Big Nasty. Follow him on Twitter. And we do have an ad at the moment.
Worse than seeing Barry Sanders on your most dreaded rivals team? Seeing Barry Sanders on your most dreaded rivals team with this man coaching him. The man with his
What the
name
hell?
on the box.
Madden.
Advertisement.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we go. Let's turn it over to Big Nasty.
If this ever wants to shut up. There we go.
Jericho versus Ziggler was a great way to start off the show. Started off a little bit awkward, but a strong finish. Very athletic match. I give it a B+. Daniel Bryan versus Kane was better than it should have been. A good decision to have Bryan and go over. A colossal effort from both men. B-. The Miz and Rey Mysterio ended just as it started to get good. Mysterio finally looking like he's getting back into the swing of things. I give this match a C+. The Tag Team Championship match was without AEW, the primetime players don't really matter. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth still your Tag Team Champions. So what? C-. Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio was a bit slow for my taste, but a very good finish. Sheamus slowly but surely building momentum as World Heavyweight Champion, and Alberto Del Rio is still a serviceable heel. Let's give it a B. CM Punk versus John Cena versus a Big Show was a wonderfully told match. The best match of the night in my book. A great story of the Big Show being this unstoppable force going back and forth, beating on Cena and CM Punk playing King of the Mountain until CM Punk finally stole a victory. Give that match an A-. An otherwise hot crowd died for the Brock Lesnar versus Triple H main event, probably because of the weak build-up, I told you so. So I'll give the build-up an F, I'll give the match a C-, I'll give the finish an A, which averages to about a B-.
And that was about it.
You know the only thing worse than seeing Barry Sanders on your most...
There.
Okay, now, as you've heard from Big Nasty, you can follow him on Twitter for all WWE updates and stuff like that. He was working with that too. Now we are going to move on to...
Raw episode 1004.
Yes.
Alright, it starts off with Lesnar opening the show, and
As previously reported last night.
And he is pretty much the self-proclaimed new King of Kings.
Paul Heyman calls him, and he's like, yeah. At this point, he calls the referee out, and like, I'm not really getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine. He
calls Scott Armstrong.
Yeah, he calls him out, and it looks like as if he's about to attack the ref. And
Scott Armstrong is a senior official for refs and stuff like that, so I just want to point that out.
Let's face it. Having Brock Lesnar call you out into the ring, you gotta suspect that he's gonna try to pull something on you, and and we wouldn't put it past Brock to attack.
But this is what Brock pulls. He takes Scott like this and goes, "Good job," and lets him go. So
anyway, and then just the question is Triple H retiring from the ring? We think no. He's still got plenty of matches left in him. It's just his spirit is just more or less kind of broken because of this.
We'll have Shawn Michaels on a little later. Well, we won't have him on.
Oh my God! If Shawn Michaels is on here, oh my God! Anyway,
that would blow this show up.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you about the interview that he has via satellite later, and more news on Lesnar a little later.
Yep.
I think you can take it from here. I will be quiet for this one.
All right. Next was a 3-on-3 tag team match, and Sin Cara, Kofi, and Truth versus the Primetime Players and Cody Rhodes. It's a non-title match. It's just there as filler, and it was more or less it wasn't the best match of the night. It just wasn't. Sin Cara wins by a roll-up because Cody Rhodes once again is obsessed with unmasking Sin Cara, which in Spanish means faceless. So, in other words, it was just something to fill up the time, and just really it wasn't all that great. Next we see in the interview area backstage is Matt Striker, I believe.
It is Matt Striker because
Josh
Matthews got attacked by Kane.
Yeah, that we should actually cover that real quick. There was a match between Kane and Daniel Bryan on SummerSlam. We apologize. We weren't really taking notes during the pay-per-view, so that's our fault completely. Lack of preparation on that one. Daniel Bryan had won, and Kane had went off on a rage and pretty much went backstage. When one of the interviewers, Josh Matthews, tried to question him, came through him at the camera, and
He pretty much yells at Josh going, "Where is he?" And Josh is like, "I don't know." So
he's shocked.
he will be back next week, Josh Matthews will.
Poor Josh.
More news on Kane in a little bit.
Yes. Anyway, we see Matt Stryker talking to AJ about CM Punk's declaration about him wanting to choose his next #1 contender for the WWE title. And she's about to say something when we see David Otunga come in and try to make himself legal counsel to AJ. And he says, and I could be a great asset to you.
If
If anyone calls you crazy, I can put a lawsuit against them.
And this is where it goes bad, because you never call AJ crazy. You don't say the word crazy around her.
Yeah, pretty much the mention of that word makes her fly off the handle. And she pretty
does.
much puts him into a match.
Where she picks the opponent.
Yes. More on that in a little bit.
And this is where I'm coming in.
Yes.
Okay, the next match was Ryback versus the Jobbers. Really, another Jobbers people that just one-day contracts, as we've explained before.
Yeah,
Do we really need to do this again? Another Jobber match.
I'm sorry. Ryback has been showing tremendous skill, and just seeing him being thrown up against Jobbers again, all I really have to say for the WWE is...
Isn't it? It's getting old.
Not even that. It's just...
He has much more talent than...
Yeah, you guys are really not giving him a fair chance here. I mean, really, another Jobbers match? He's destroyed more than plenty Jobbers. What I want to see is a title shot for him.
I think he is in pre-feud match, or pre-feud thing with... What's his name?
Jinder Mahal. Yeah, he is. He is in a feud with Jinder Mahal. It's just, I would love to see more matches against Jinder instead of just matches against Jobbers.
Exactly.
However, Jinder does make an appearance during the match.
Before we get to that, Ryback dominated as always against Jobbers. I mean, who's going to beat Ryback, honestly? But then, as he was about to say, Jinder Mahal does ambush Ryback from behind. Puts him in the camel clutch. But Ryback fights out of it.
Yeah, and by fights out of it, we mean he just stands up
and drops.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And Mahal runs away like a little bitch.
It was technically a win by disqualification and for Ryback.
Well, still, but...
And, yeah, and Ryback to pretty much send a message to Jinder Mahal... Takes the two Jobbers and does his one signature. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know the name of it. We honestly don't.
There has been no clear name for it.
Yeah, so pretty much he marches around the ring and then he just drops the two Jobbers.
Another little tidbit with Ryback. We still have not figured out his new theme song.
However, we have gotten a better listen to the theme itself. It starts off
I think it's still the same theme song with just him going, "Feed me more."
No, there's actually lyrics now. So
is there really?
Yes. There's actually lyrics, but it starts off with his with his tagline, "And feed me more." I'll be checking on YouTube every so often just to see if it's up or not. And
we'll report back to you.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to both cover this one. Big headline for tonight, for last night. AJ raises the stakes.
We see backstage, Chris Jericho is texting on his phone when Ziggler comes in and pretty much says, "So yeah, you won against me, so you can win the big one.
I deserve a rematch."
And
Ziggler's been going on just touting for rematch and shit like that. So, so AJ gives it to him.
She comes in, skips around the guys, and she goes, "Wait. You guys want a rematch? Fine, I'll give it to you."
We have very interesting stipulations.
She looks to Jericho and she goes, "If you lose,
your contract is terminated."
And she goes to Ziggler and she says, "If you lose, your Money in the Bank contract goes to Jericho."
is this a way for Y2J to be written off for now for later comeback? More on that in about 5-10 minutes. This one's gonna go a little bit longer than expected because we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, because
usually it won't go this long because we covered SummerSlam
and we get off topic a
Yes.
bit too easily. Anyway, so all right, Alberto Del Rio versus Randy Orton. Alberto's was out in the ring. He was complaining about how he was robbed, and this is
again. He just bitches way too much.
exactly. When AJ comes out and she goes, I can't really do anything for you about the World Heavyweight title. That's Booker T's bit.
Turf, yeah.
However, since you are in ring gear and already in the ring, why don't we just give you a match anyway? And it will be against this man. And Randy Orton comes out.
I do think that WWE is starting the creative team, which consists of Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and a few other people. I think they're starting to use referees in the storylines a lot more now. I mean, because now the refs are getting in the center of the controversy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But,
now,
again, Sheamus is on commentary for the match.
Yes. And
now, the match. Turn that over.
Orton, the fight goes back and forth. Finally, Orton uses the turnbuckle for the DET.
He's been doing that quite a few times now, so I'm guessing this is a new thing.
The guys are setting themselves up for it, so if it's the opportunity's there, I say take it.
There's a little thing I want to cover right here. This could be build up for a match that's live in Buffalo, which
is going to be a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title
between Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Alberto Del Rio.
So keep that in mind for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens is
we see a little bit of a repeat from SummerSlam.
After a bit of more fighting, Alberto goes for the cover on Randy Orton. Randy gets his foot up on the bottom rope, and just as the ref is about to count 3, Sheamus is pretty much grabs the ref by the back of his shirt and he goes, "Hey, take a look at this." And the ref goes, "Okay, yeah, rope break, and get off him." And pretty much Del Rio is fuming at Sheamus and spitting at him and going, "And how dare you do this? This isn't your right. This isn't your match," and all this other crap.
But he loses track, and of course the Viper is coiled.
And as soon as he turns around, RKO for the win.
Now you didn't really get a good look like we usually do at the RKO because the camera was centered out more back towards the audience, but they did show a replay and it was up close. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, after that, Michael Cole was actually bringing up a pretty valid point of if Sheamus is pointing at this out now, why couldn't he do that at SummerSlam? But King pulls up an excellent point of why didn't Ricardo?
Yeah.
Why didn't Ricardo do it? Why didn't Ricardo do the same for Del Rio during the match during SummerSlam? So
and then Sheamus brings up a point. He goes, "Look, I'm the championship. If there's
you're not gonna dispute against the ref. If the ref says you won, you're not gonna argue.
Exactly. Valid point. Moving on. I do want.
All right, you can cover this one.
Okay. Sit back and relax. This is gonna be a few minutes. Actually, not even. Brodus Clay versus Damian Sandow. This was the first reaction I had. Wait, heading.
No, I'm fine.
Wait, an actual match? Are they actually gonna have a match? Turns out they do. Brodus Clay is just in control throughout this match. This is the most dominant he's been. Now the match goes on and on. Sheamus. Sandow keeps targeting Brodus' leg.
The knee. The bad knee that he injured a week or two ago.
Yeah, but then Sandow wins on a roll-up. It wasn't really a roll-up. It was Sandow grabbing Brodus Clay's attire and just keeping him in the air. And the ref didn't see it, so... Because Brodus Clay is rather, hefty. I guess. But Clay does get bit payback, and he goes after Sandow. So.
Yep, pretty much finishes with the Billy Splash or whatever the hell he calls it. And
the Monster Splash, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll both
I think
cover...
he calls it like my bad or something like that.
Oh, like somebody call your mama.
No, like the my bad. After he does the splash, he always gets up and he goes, "Oh, my bad."
Oh, we're gonna both cover this next one.
HBK live via satellite.
He discusses the match. He's pretty much saying Triple H did a great job. He went out there and fought.
But he believes that Triple H's ring career is over.
He pretty much says
he says that he feels that it was partially his fault that he lost because of the fact that he wasn't truthful with his friend because he didn't really think that he could win against Lesnar. And he said that there was nothing to be ashamed about. He was proud of his friend and in that everybody loves and respects him. And that's how the interview had ended. Which it then went to commercial. And when we came back, we saw Otunga coming out onto the ring. You
and
can cover
none
this.
other than... no, AJ does pick the opponent, and it's none other than an enraged Big Show.
And when we say enraged, we mean it.
Oh, yeah. He came out pissed as all hell. But he was pissed after the loss at SummerSlam. So he comes out and just dominates Otunga. And of course, Big Show wins. We saw that coming, so... Oh well. I'm going to cover the first part of this one real quick. The next match that comes up is Kane and Ryder. Kane and Zack Ryder versus Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Now, Ryder finally gets back on Raw, so I'm pretty sure he'll have to say something about that on his show, the True Long Island IC, I believe. Which should be up in a day or two. Then we see Daniel Bryan, but he has to partner with Kane. And remember, a couple months back, Kane pretty much destroyed Ryder. But anyway.
Now, for Daniel Bryan and The Miz, about a year ago, The Miz, back in NXT, I believe it was.
Coached him, mentored him.
And they never got along. So, pretty much as soon as The Miz came out, Bryan was doing his usual screaming no at the audience member, and the audience member was yelling yes back at him.
But before
these guys were actually in sync, which was actually quite impressive.
Yes, I know. You know, I said in the last episode this was getting kind of old, but this one was actually a little bit entertaining. But
considering that they were doing it at the very same time, and it was in sync, and it was just very impressive.
I actually found myself chanting along.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Miz pretty much...
I just want to say this real quick. D-Bry does, when he comes out, he sees a fan sign that says, yes, yes, yes. So he takes this fan sign and rips it. Now, before the camera went away from it, you could see the back of the sign.
And it said, thank you, Y2J.
Now, this fan had to be pissed. I would have been pissed.
Not even... There's that, but then there's also the fact that there's a bit of foreshadowing there. And that could be... That was something to actually pay attention to if anyone had caught that. Anyway. So...
Even if somebody ripped my fan sign, I'd be a little pissed. Just saying.
Yes, he's still stuck on that fact. Anyway,
but,
so The Miz pretty much whacks Bryan in the back and he goes, hey, focus on the match, idiot. Go up to the ring now.
Yeah, when he's yelling no at the fan.
Yeah, he's already pretty much running the show for Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, you can cover the match.
They did kind of get along.
Kinda. Mm.
They did for a good portion of the match, but then came the tag-in where Kane and Daniel Bryan were supposed to face off. Now remember last night at SummerSlam, they did face off and Kane got pissed because he lost when he wasn't supposed to. So Daniel Bryan takes off and Kane goes on a freaking rampage. And he enters the timekeeper. Timekeeper, he sits in the back towards where, Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, sits. And in that little barricade section there.
Timekeeper was definitely trying to hide.
Yes, you can see the timekeeper. He's pretty much under the thing going like this.
And when Kane's looking down at him, he looks up, and you could see the white of his eyes pretty much.
This is the first thing I was thinking of. This is the first thing that came to mind. Armadillo, armadillo, armadillo.
Oh, boy. Yeah, but even Armadillo wouldn't really work against Kane.
No.
Anyway,
he takes the timekeeper, just throws him, and
actually, he takes the timekeeper. He's taking him towards the side of the ring. He's about to chokeslam him when he sees Zack Ryder getting back up. He then chucks the timekeeper over the barricade.
Now the timekeeper, he keeps the length of the matches.
Anyway,
on that.
So pretty much what happens is he gets back into the ring with Zack Ryder, picks up Ryder, and then gives him the Tombstone on pile driver.
And then runs off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was no winner in this at all, so... I mean, it could have been... No, I don't think it was even a disqualification, but...
Yeah.
Either way. Next came one of my favorite parts of the show. I mean, it was kind of a dull
Favorite parts of the show? Come on. And whenever this happens, you start drooling.
Yeah, but, it wasn't really...
Let me put it to you this way, guys. When it comes to Divas, he's the little Jerry Lawler. The next match was a Divas Battle Royale for the #1 contender spot for
I do want to point
the
this
Divas
out.
Championship.
Sorry for interrupting you on this. I do want to point this out. Before the match, before they went to the commercial, after the Ryder Kane match thing, the tag team match, and they said about the Divas Battle Royal. Well, the front picture was Kelly Kelly. I assumed Kelly was going to be in this.
There was also Beth Phoenix in the picture as well. But when the match actually happened, there was no Kelly Kelly and there was no Beth Phoenix.
We did see Layla at ringside.
We saw Rosa Mendez in the ring, and she wasn't in the picture.
Fights.
Yeah.
And this was the match for a #1 contender.
Like I said. And Layla was at ringside, as he said. After pretty decent fighting time of about, what, you'd say 15 minutes maybe?
I'd say about 10.
10 to 15 minutes. Caitlyn finally comes out on top. And she is #1 contender for the Divas Championship. So like we said in the last episode, Caitlyn as a Divas Championship, we could easily see that.
But...
So that may come sooner than expected.
I do want to touch on this a little bit. After the match ends, the camera shifts back to Layla, and we see Layla sitting there, and she's got this look on her face.
It's kind of like a look of disbelief and confusion, if I would have to judge it.
I mean, because they're both kind of two faces for the Divas, the section.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah.
Usually you don't see a face versus a face match.
So this should be quite interesting.
But then you see Layla and she smiles and then she congratulates her. So more to come on that. And
the
biggest match of the night.
The contract versus contract match of Jericho and Ziggler.
Remember the stipulations.
Jericho was in control for pretty much most of the match. And he managed to pull off the lion salt like twice.
No, I think it was a run up on the rope, and then he drop kicked him off because on the last minute he goes for the lion salt. Ziggler puts his legs up
that's true.
into his ribs, which were injured.
Now something that kind of confused me. Beginning half of the match, before it went to commercial, he had the bandages around his
and then when
waist.
he came back, he didn't.
Yeah, so
I think they just kind of came off.
Yeah, and they didn't show it, which kind of confused me, but hey, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, like he said, knees came up during lion salt, got him in the bad ribs, and Jericho lost the match that way.
But the question was, is he really gone? Now, I do not believe he is gone. It's just the storyline because he is touring with this band Fozzy for about a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, and we have something here for it. How is leaving WWE now saving Y2J's character? You can cover this.
Okay, well, we have an exclusive here, and it says,
Lack of preparation, people.
well, not even that. You just gotta. Now that the WWE star is leaving the company and returning to the road with his band Fozzy, via loss to Dolph, Jericho's persona has been saved. I mean, the past few months that he's been back, he returned to being a face, and the fans now love him. With this classic line that he never uses, will you please just shut the hell up? So, the fans are loving him now, and the WWE should have requested that this Jericho for his whole return, but it allowed the fans to fall in love with the star once again. Now that he's leaving, the fans feel like they got their favorite star back and miss him already. The WWE Universe has been left wanting more. That's something that doesn't happen often in a 3-hour Raw age.
Yeah. So pretty much, to put it lightly, they pretty much made it so that everybody wants Jericho back now. But since he's going to be gone for a month or two, people are going to be building up hype about how they want him back and all that. And then here's my prediction: since his Raw contract's been terminated, he's going to come back on SmackDown.
Maybe. There's a little bit more with this. With the few months that he's going to be on the road and doing what he loves, he'll have a refreshed outlook on his life and his career. And Jericho's found the balance between wrestling and his music that makes him happy. And seen by his willingness to put everyone over, Jericho is quite satisfied with what he has going on in his life, and WWE can't help but love what Y2J offers. He's a very decorated star in the WWE. I'm reading this straight from
Bleacher Report.
Yes. Don't give that away. And his mic and in-ring skills are second to none, so the fans don't realize yet how much they will miss the veteran star, making their favorite WWE superstar look as strong as possible. So now begs the question, what's next for Jericho? The band will be on tour for most of the remainder of 2012 and a few dates in 2013, which also should be noted that he has October and most of November off. With the WWE always going all in on Survivor Series, these missing dates of the Fozzy schedule could mean a return for the run-up to the big pay-per-view. The fans would love to see another mid-card featuring Y2J and one of the up-and-coming stars in the company. Now that Jericho's left on good terms with the company and the WWE Universe, not only does Dolph Ziggler get the immediate rub, the fans yearn for more of Y2J's matches and his promos. When he does eventually return, the pop will be huge. That is it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for listening to that one.
Yes.
But anyway, we are going to move on.
Now, next is the whole CM Punk calling out Cena. He comes out onto the ring. He has the mic, but then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Before he comes out to the ring, there was a little segment backstage with him saying, because AJ said she's going to allow Punk to choose his next opponent for Survivor, or not,
for the
Night of Champions, I'm
Yes.
sorry. And
as long as she approved of it.
now, backstage he goes, my opponent for SummerSlam for Night of Champions is none other than John Cena, but on one condition.
He did say that backstage.
So
yeah.
What
he
is the
doesn't
condition?
say the condition.
Until he gets out of the ring, what is
Yes.
the condition is the question going into this.
Getting back to what I was saying, where he gets out to the ring, and then what happens is he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for a moment, and because when I saw Jerry over here, I couldn't help but think about him saying I turned my back on the WWE Universe." So, in other words, he's starting to bitch about how he wants respect and all that, and how he's demanding respect out of everyone and everything. So he goes up to Jerry and he pretty much demands for him to apologize.
Lawler, being Lawler, will not do it. He pretty much
doesn't- he
says
doesn't
there was
say
a
no.
misunderstanding.
Yes, he says that it was a misunderstanding, and just before Punk says much else, Cena comes out to the ring, and Punk goes, "Really? You had to come out now? Oh, I was gonna call you out, but no, you just had to steal stuff from me again."
I do want to bring this up. There was a WWE.com exclusive after SummerSlam with Cena, and the reporter goes up to Cena and says, "Can you now say that CM Punk is the best in the world?" Well, Cena couldn't really answer that, so he says, "I'll have more tomorrow." So you kind of saw this coming, and of course, the condition does turn out to be he needs to tell Punk that he is the best in the world, that Punk is the best in the world.
Exactly, and Cena pretty much retorts by saying,
Well,
I can't say that because I have to believe that I'm the best in order for me to do my best in the ring and to earn the respect of everybody here. Or yes, you see a sea of green with the hats, the wristbands, the foam fingers, the t-shirts, or all that. But that's because as I've earned that respect. I haven't gone out and did anything from anyone on inside or outside these ropes. And yeah, great. You've had the...
If we had a little bit more time, we would show you the actual promo thing.
May I talk?
Yes, you may.
Anyway, he goes, yeah, great. You've had the championship for 9 months now. Whatever. I've had it for over a year.
He pretty much says, I've had that championship for about 380 days before. Which is pretty much a full year and then some. So.
Yeah. And then pretty much he goes, go ahead and choose whomever you want for the #1 contender spot. But just remember, Night of Champions is in my house, my hometown. So if you choose anyone besides me for that match, yeah, you're not going to have the respect you demand from anyone. And you won't have respect for yourself, you won't have respect for the WWE title.
Exactly. And this is pretty much what Cena says. He goes, everything I've done throughout my career bases off one thing that you seek and that you just continuously demand. Respect. And that's what he says. So
Cena leaves a ring and he goes backstage. And pretty much Punk stands there for a few moments and he goes, Jerry, come back here. Jerry, get up here. And come onto the ring. And let's have a conversation. Jerry reluctantly grabs a mic and gets up there. And he goes, I want you. You're an ambassador for these people. They'll
listen to what you say.
Yeah, they'll buy what you're selling. You tell them that I'm the best in the world. And
of course,
Lawler pretty much says, no,
I've always had a good rapport with the
audience.
And I just cannot do that. So.
And please let me get back to my job.
He kind of shoulder bumps him a little bit.
He's at the ropes when all of a sudden Punk high kicks him in the back of the head and
knocks him out.
Cold. And it pretty much ends with the show ends with Punk standing right over him.
Crouching over him. So.
So pretty much it's official. He is heel. There is just no two ways about it.
No, I gotta dispute that in a minute. He can't. He's not really heel at the moment. He's still transitioning, but he's getting more towards heel.
Yeah, but
he'll try and work his way out of that and stuff like that. But
yeah, but honestly, how can anyone say that they're face and be able
kick
to
Lawler in the back of the head? But
yeah,
I understand
a cheap shot like that. Honestly.
All right. Well, as we do every week. Oh, I do want to bring up one more point. Will we hear from Triple H? When will we hear from him?
It's currently
undecided, but like we said, we will decide later.
Now, top 5 questions going forward after the Raw episode. How many one-armed wrestlers does it take to change a light bulb? Oh boy. We've witnessed Jericho leaving, Brock Lesnar leaving, and also Triple H leaving.
Speculation, stuff like that.
Pretty much.
As we do every week on this show, we will tell you the top 5 questions going forward.
Is it really the end for Brock Lesnar?
We reported that no, it is not. He should be back soon.
Around Survivor Series, yeah?
Yes, around there.
Is Triple H really retiring?
Again.
We've already covered that. We believe that he's got many more matches ahead of him. He's just gonna take a bit of time
until people start gently transitioning to forgetting about him. That's when he's gonna come back.
Yep. Almost exactly like with his quad injury.
Yes.
Way back when. Is Jinder Mahal a worthy opponent for Ryback?
We both want to answer this question. Yes, he is.
I personally don't think so. Jinder is... Okay, let's face it. Jinder Mahal is a sideshow act.
But he's kind of made a name for himself.
Yeah, by cheap means.
Yes, but...
I honestly do not see him becoming one of the big names of the company.
The only reason I say yes to this question is because I do want to see him in an actual match with Ryback.
Yeah, without the cheap shit.
Without the cheap shit, yeah.
And now that I think about it, if he can beat Mahal, then this might actually be the perfect stepping stone for Ryback to get a title shot. Be it Intercontinental or United States Championship.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Have we witnessed Chris Jericho's last match? We've covered this. No, we have not. It's just a kayfabe kind of thing. Is CM Punk being disrespected? We kind of touched on this.
I want to say, yes.
I do get his point that he's been taking a back seat to Triple H, The Rock, and Cena.
But here's the thing. These guys, I mean, Rock
they
and
go out
Triple
there
H,
every night and they damn well earn it. I mean, CM Punk
Rock
does
and
too.
Triple H, these guys have had a lot of history with the WWE. These guys have been fighting for years and years and years, way before even Cena and Punk showed up. So they've earned all the respect over the years, and they're pretty much big names. They are legendary status, and no one can dispute that. Cena, he could, like he said, he pretty much comes out every single night, does his best, earns the respect.
I mean, even though half the crowd's going, let's go Cena, and the other's going, Cena sucks, it's out of mutual fun and respect.
Exactly. CM Punk, he was respected before he started pulling the crap of, I demand respect and all this other crap.
He did bring up a very valid point. I'm sorry for interrupting you again. He did bring up a very valid point of, last year, he had to come back and earn the respect and pretty much hold the company hostage to get what he wanted.
Yeah, and as Cena had mentioned, in order to do that, he had to pretty much kiss Vince McMahon goodbye and leave. So, yeah.
And Cena has never demanded a thing.
So, yeah, in Punk's eyes, yeah, he is being disrespected. In everyone else's eyes, he's just being an asshole about it.
If you're a Punk fan, yeah, we get it. You might disagree with us, but this is kind of our views at this point. Now that we're done with this, we do want to take a couple more seconds and we want to discuss why Teddy Long will soon be general manager again.
Okay.
So, one of the featured matches at WrestleMania 28 was the GM match. Battle of the general managers. So
6 heels threw in their support behind John Laurinaitis, and they pretty much teamed up against Teddy Long's squad of 6 baby-faced Fate.
Straight from the website.
And months and months and months of build-up, and
that match did live up to its hype, but
yeah,
all in all, it was just a cheap match.
And with Teddy Long being senior advisor to Booker, we could kind of see how a shift in power could happen. So, He'll read from the site.
Okay, well, after that, we thought it was goodbye, adios, and see you later. But, you know what they say about assuming. The case of Teddy Long proves that saying to be true. And okay, rather than John Laurinaitis being offering Long a position as his assistant, not even a week after Team Johnny beat Team Teddy at WrestleMania 29, which ultimately rendered the entire Battle of the GM storyline completely pointless and somehow managed to give Long just as much, if not more, TV time than he beginning when he was actually GM. This was absolutely ridiculous, an open-handed slap to the face of the fans who spent months watching the storyline, only for it to be rendered meaningless. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. When Long remained a consistent TV character. And nobody wants to see Long go off TV. I love Teddy Long.
And frankly, I mean, no one can really say that they enjoyed watching Teddy being abused like that.
Exactly.
At least, nonetheless, if you want to be an openly sadistic idiot. So.
Yes. So to sum it up, Long was involved in a major storyline that supposedly meant he was fired, but somehow he already got a big TV role just 4 months later.
Mm-hmm.
And now we find WWE keeps finding a TV spot for him. After Long was fired as the GM, he quickly became Laurinaitis' assistant. Soon after, he spent weeks as the interim GM of both Raw and SmackDown, and now he finds himself as the senior advisor to General Manager Booker T. Now, you can see where the storyline is headed from a mile away. I will let you finish.
We're not sure about WWE's obsession with keeping Long on, but trust us that there is a reason why he has performed in 3 different roles, since being fired. And these roles are more or less the same thing. The WWE has no idea what to do with the SmackDown GM post, and Booker T doesn't figure to be a long-term solution. Why? Because he's left a gaping hole at the SmackDown announcer table. With Booker T gone, and from Blue Brand's announce team...
I find an easy solution to that. Bring Matt Striker back to the announce table.
It's now just Josh and Michael Cole on Friday nights. Herein lies the problem. They're both play-by-play guys. Booker T was a wacky color commentator on SmackDown, and though some didn't like him in that role, he performed pretty well there and drastically improved each and every week. Not to mention, he's a veteran. He knows most of these guys, and he can give you background information about how these guys have worked hard to get up to the point that they are now.
And a good point brought up here is Matthews is a good commentator, but he's more of a play-by-play guy than he is a color commentator. Cole, as we always just say, is just plain old annoying.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, SmackDown's back to a 2-man crew, and without the color analysis, it's just doesn't live up to the hype that it really should.
They bring up a point here saying that I'd love to think that someone like William Regal will step into Booker T's old spot, but this is WWE, and we know exactly what's going to happen. Booker T is eventually going to slide back into his role as a color commentator. Somehow the WWE will fill Booker's spot as GM with the same guy who's been in and out of that role since 2004.
Which is Teddy Long. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to happen. He's going to slide into power once Booker decides that he wants to be a commentator once again.
Now, big news concerning WrestleMania 30. That's next year's WrestleMania after this one. Stone Cold Steve Austin reportedly will wrestle at WrestleMania 30. Big news. We all knew he had one more match to come. We've been waiting for this for a long time. But of course he was filming Grown Ups 2 and his knee injury kind of thing, but
then he was also hosting a show on CMT about rednecks or whatever.
I think he was doing like a hunting show or some shit like that. But
No, it was like a competition for rednecks. Kind of like a Survivor.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I didn't really watch it, so...
Neither do I.
But...
Anyway, so yeah, he's reportedly going to be there in 2014.
But it says, coming out of the SummerSlam
SummerSlam.
weekend events in LA, word from sources is that Steve Austin will indeed be wrestling one more match with the WWE, but that match most likely will not take place at WrestleMania 29 in 2013. Austin's final match isn't expected to happen until WrestleMania 30 in 2014. The story is that Austin won't come back for anything but a WrestleMania main event.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty much, the opponent is undecided. And there's a poll here where they're asking who should Austin's final opponent be. And the choices they have here are CM Punk, John Cena, The Rock, or Brock Lesnar.
Let's quickly review this. CM Punk as an opponent for Steve Austin. I can see it. However, I don't think it will be a big storyline as he's coming off a match probably with The Rock. So
That, and they've had they've had interactions before. So, and Punk has gotten on Austin's nerves before. John Cena, he's pretty much WWE's golden boy.
He's going to be, if this match does happen, if the WWE wants this match to happen, the creative team, he's going to be the safe bet because we all know it's going to make a shitload of money.
And let's face it, people, they're pretty much grooming John Cena to pretty much be the champion of champions. He's going to pretty much face everyone there could possibly be, and win or lose, he's still going to manage to face every single guy, every single legend, and he's going to be able to somehow come out on top for certain matches. So, yeah, I mean, it's a safe bet that it will happen.
Next comes The Rock. With The Rock, and Stone Cold, these guys both don't really show up as often. I mean, they're usually around
There's
big
that,
events
and they already had their big rivalries before. So.
Yes. But, I could see this match as a potential possibility. Of course, things are going to swivel and swirl throughout the freaking remainder of the up to leading that to leading.
Now,
to the,
Brock Lesnar.
That is a very possible if they continue to keep him after this WrestleMania.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's more or less the way I see it. It's redneck versus wild animal.
And then we can't
Biggest
help but
badass
assume
in WWE.
we can't help but assume that somebody might try and get involved in that match.
Yeah, biggest badass in WWE versus a
The
mindless
redneck
beast.
bastard who just drinks and does everything and
No,
is kick
biggest
ass.
badass in WWE is Stone Cold Steve Austin, dumbass.
Oh, that's right. Well, but
Yeah, so if
I'll give
anything,
it a hell yeah.
if anything, it's just more or less another Triple H Lesnar match, and just with a different name. It's gonna be lots of hype, and when the match actually happens, Lesnar's not gonna be
do
anything
shit.
but
He's just gonna be a broken record. Like,
yeah, he's gonna be a broken record. He's gonna be a wild animal, and Stone Cold's probably gonna do whatever the hell he can to put him down. But yeah, we just don't know.
guys, all in all, this match will be happening. I hope. It's all but confirmed for the time being. We will keep you posted on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There was a promo that was cut yesterday. On Raw. It was
Wade Barrett's return.
Yeah. We still do not have a return date for him. I think he may return at Night of Champions if they keep showing him like this.
Either that, or he'll probably return on SmackDown.
Within a week or so. At least a couple weeks from
Mm-hmm.
now. But that's still up in the air as to his return.
Yeah, and
We thought it was going to be maybe tonight or last night or SummerSlam. But
yeah, here's the thing, people. He left as a heel, so we honestly have no idea whether or not if he's going to be coming back as a heel or a face.
I believe it's going to be him coming back as a freaking heel just because he's like in the promo he pretty much goes, try and look it up real quick.
Yeah.
He goes, my barrage is not over, and that was a big part of his tenure in WWE. Gary is looking up the video as we speak. Here we go. If you do not have a...
Okay.
You're muted.
Yes, I realize that. It's not letting me unmute. There we go.
We're gonna have to restart.
There we go.
Here we go. I realize we're
come
running
from.
over.
An onslaught of fury is the only way to survive. Survival leads to escape. But with escape, calloused souls soften and you become vulnerable. When the fire inside you burns out, you have to go back into the abyss to reignite the flame. I am Wade Barrett, and my barrage has just begun.
Obviously one of the darker promos, so we can assume that he will be coming back as heel. The last thing I want to cover, real quick, I know this one we ran overboard on again, but we had SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw to cover, so there was no way we were going to make it a allotted amount of time. Next week will be different, and Friday or Saturday show will be different. So I'm sorry for this inconvenience, and I look forward to doing this again on Friday. But the last thing I want to bring up, I think he has something else to bring up with Ryback.
No?
Well, I saw you in the video.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. So.
But there was a commercial that was shown last night that we just found out about yesterday night on Raw. In case you missed WrestleMania, the Cena versus Rock match. There is going to be a replay of that match, everything leading up to it, and that's going to be this Saturday at 8 o'clock on NBC.
Yes.
Don't miss it. If you want to see it again, relive it, go for it. I personally may watch it. I don't know if I'll have time. I will have a reminder on Saturday afternoon.
With that, we're pretty much done for today. So this is Jason and Gary signing off.